Have a Marine Corps here, Navy, I'm sure we're all here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You forgot to remind the veterans they are allowed to give a handshake.
Happen to be the commander of Post 102 in Erie, American Legion. We start every meeting with prayer and the flag salute. I do live close to a turbine in Neosho County, 575 yards to be exact. And the next one is 1,006 yards. Now some of you might be thinking, how does he know that? Well, I don't trespass on Corky Beecher's property, but I do own a high dollar rangefinder, so I know how far it is. So, but let me tell you this, I'm not going to talk to you about blade flicker. I'll leave that to somebody else. I'm not going to talk to you about the ugly. We already know they're ugly. And I'm not going to talk to you about the bright flashing lights, but I will say this. I got up the other night, it was raining. Nice, thunder boomer rainer, and I like them. I like the lightning. Open my garage door, my lawn chair. There's no lightning. My approach to my garage door is got water on it, and I got flashing red. Flashing red, flashing red. They're not up here now, folks. It's not flashing lights in the skies. It's in my yard. Anywhere there's water, I have a flashing light. My wife told me not to raise my voice. She said, don't use your hands. I only got 10 minutes. Anyway, you know, they're bright lights, and they're everywhere when it's raining. Not just there, not just over there, and they're not in the west. They're not in the east. They're right there in my yard. I want to talk to you about noise. You'll go to some of these meetings, RWE will be there, and they will tell you 45 decibels. And then pretty soon they'll say 45 decibels LEQ. Who knows what LEQ is? Besides the Neosho County group. LEQ stands for average. 45 decibels average. Now, think about 45 decibels average. That means that when I have my phone, and I have it off, I have a decibel meter on here. I have recorded over and taken screenshots of it of over 80 decibels from 575 yards and 1,006 in my backyard. Over 80 decibels. I have an average of 68. A lot of times I can get a screenshot in the 60s and the 70s. That's not 45. And it's certainly not 45 LEQ, because let me explain LEQ to you. If they're going to shove LEQ down your throat, because every document you see, whether it's a road use agreement or a document that you signed to lease your property, it's going to say 45 LEQ. LEQ, that means that if they have a wind turbine that's making a lot of noise when they're changing directions, because those nacelles up there, they turn to face the wind. If they get to screaming and they're doing 80 decibels, that's okay, because this morning there was no wind and it didn't turn at all. So over the last 8 hours, that's only 10. It's average. So if they have this 80 decibels for a long period of time, because something up there is not right and it's screeching, and it's that way for 8 hours during your sleep time, it's okay, because yesterday they had it shut down for maintenance and it didn't run at all. So in the last 24 hours, it was only 40, well below the 45 LEQ. Now think about this. Why is that good for you? You ever hit your thumb? Driving a nail, you hit your thumb, and it hurt. How bad did it hurt? Was it a 10? Let's assume it was a 10. But on average, LEQ, on average, you didn't hit it yesterday. So on average, it's only a 5. You didn't hit it last week. So on average, LEQ, it's only a 2. It don't hurt at all. Not at all. It's okay. Live with it. You'll get used to it. So how many of you have ever, at any time, raised children? You got a little one. Suddenly in the middle of the night, you hear this screaming noise, and what does it do? Your heart flutters, you get excited, you're upset, the tears are flowing because the little one's screaming. How loud was it? Loud enough to make me cry. But the child wasn't crying that morning. So really, it didn't hardly have any tears because it can't be that loud if you just average it out. It's okay. You'll get used to it. It's just noise. Well, let me tell you, when I go outside to barbecue, I was going to do that tonight, but I was asked to come down here and be polite. And tomorrow night I'm going to barbecue. And my barbecue is really close to this 575. And when those things are loud, and I'm not saying they're loud 100% of the time. First of all, the wind only blows 32% of the time. Don't tell them that over at Liberty Empire because they'll laugh at you. Anyway, it only blows 32% of the time. But when I want to go out and barbecue, a lot of times, it's noisy. It's more noisy than my air conditioning unit over there. That's 50 feet away, not 575 yards. Across my property line, across my fence. It has intruded on my barbecue. Is that right? Is that fair? Do these outsiders, these out-of-towners, these out-of-staters, and let me tell you about out-of-staters. We had a meeting in Galesburg. I had 7 Apex people up there. And I asked the first one, where do you live? Well, I live in Charlottesville. Well, how close is the turbine to you? Well, I don't have any close to me. How many's in your county? We don't have any in our county. Well, how many in your parish? How many's in your state? We don't have any in our state. All 7 of them, the same answer. None of them live by a turbine. But they all said, but I wouldn't mind living under one. But none of them do. Not one of those 7 people from Apex, and I know you're dealing with RWE, but really, they all use the same playbook. If you research, if you go online, and you look, you'll see the same story after story after story of industrial wind facilities. They all use the same playbook, every one of them. And they have intentions of winning. 10 minutes, my gosh, I didn't know I could talk that much in 10 minutes. But back to the LEQ. Do you really think that we should have to get used to it? Do you really think that the average is what we want to hear? It doesn't solve a problem being average. What we need is just a straight decibel limit. And let me tell you this, when they bring you a contract, if they do it like they did in Neosho County, they will bring you a contract and they will expect you to sign that without reading it. Or they will expect your attorney to just tell you that it's a good thing. And up there in Neosho County, we had 2 commissioners that signed it. And one of them later said, well, I was overwhelmed. They hurried me, I was overwhelmed. I was only here for 2 meetings and I had to sign it. Slow down. We're stuck with them for 20 years. There might be a few of them that'll burn. What about this? We talked about real estate. Have you heard anybody? Do you know of anybody that knows anybody that said, Lord, wait till they get them up. I want to go live by one. Nobody wants to live by them. They're loud, they're ugly, they're noisy. They're not pretty. They're not useful. They are not self-supporting. How many of you could survive if you couldn't make enough money to pay your bills? These people can't survive without freebies. I wrote a letter to the editor early on, a letter to the editor about subsidies and grant money. Well, lo and behold, a week later, half-page ad came out in the Parsons Sun. Well, what did they address? A lot of items. One of the items they addressed was, there is no grant money during construction. Oh, well, that's a no-brainer. Those of us who are familiar with grant money, and I've been on a few boards, water boards and things of that nature with grant money, you build the project, and then they don't give you low interest loans to build a project. You get an interim loan. When you're done and it's viable and it's generating income, then you receive the grant money. When you're done and it's viable and it's generating income, then you trade your beginning loan for your actual loan, your low interest loan. So what did they do? They said, no grant money during construction. Well, that's a true statement, but that doesn't have anything to do with the fact that they still get grant money. The government's giving it away. Production tax credits. We're hearing about these things. It's a freebie. Warren Buffett thinks you're great. Put money in his pocket. How much does he need? before I went to my first commission meeting, I called Porky Beechner. Got him in my phone. I've known Porky a long time. Everybody know Porky? Anyway, I called Porky Beechner. I said, Porky, where are you at on this? I live in the same section, one of the sections he owns. Where are you at on this windmill thing? Back then, everybody called them windmills. Folks, they are industrial wind turbines. Do not fall into that trap of windmills. Aaron Schwartz will sell you a windmill up there in the Amish community. He makes windmills. These are industrial wind turbines. Anyway, where are you at? Well, Dale, I'm signed on. I'm good with it. I'm good to go. And I said, well, did you do any research, Porky? Well, no, I didn't. Did anybody in your office do any research? I know you got a lot of staff, Porky. Well, not that I'm aware of. Well, let me read something to you, Porky. Well, I pulls over, parks on the shoulder, and I says, I got a newspaper article here from Iowa. It says here that, and you guys are RWE, Apex/IKEA, their leaseholders are about to find out that when Apex didn't pay their bills to their contractors, that their landowners are now being subject to, or could be subject to, liens. Now, Porky Beechner has a lot of land, thousands of acres leased. And if they don't pay their bills, he stands to have liens filed on those acreages. Well, we was at this meeting and I read this. The meeting was in Galesburg Community Center. And I read that same newspaper article, and one of Apex's people said, can I see that? She looked at that and she said, well, it says right here, could possibly have liens filed. Didn't say they did. Well, 4 months later, I could have gone back and said, they have had them filed. So, you know, if you have signed on the dotted line, if you're a commissioner that has signed up, if you are a landowner that has signed up, you didn't do your research. And my wife said, I can't tell you what I think about you, but I'm going to tell you, you weren't very smart. You give away control of the county if you're a commissioner. You gave away control of your own land. If your contract is anything like in Neosho County, you have lost control of your land. You don't decide who hunts on it anymore. You don't decide how tall a building or structure that you can build on it anymore without first contacting the leaseholder. People, these things are not good for Labette County. They're not good for the landowners. There's no guarantee they're going to get any money. I've read those leases, several of them, and it says on there that your money, your payout is based on faceplate. Faceplate. X amount, we'll say 300 megawatts on each turbine. Well, 300 megawatts is based on 100% of production. That's 24/7. 300 megawatts, 24/7. That's what they're telling you you're going to earn your piece of the pie on. Well, the fact is, I told you all ago, the wind only blows 32% of the time. And I also tell you, if you went to Neosho County, any given day, out of 139, 3 of them will not be turning. They're dead in the water. That's the phrase I use, but they're dead in the air. They're not turning. So they're not making 100%. So you're not going to get what they told you you could get. Because like the lady told me, what's this could? Well, yeah, you could get this amount of money in revenue, your percentage back. We're going to pay you that much. If, could. There's no guarantee that these landowners will get another dime. So, there's no guarantee the county will get any money. We already have $5 million worth of road problems in Neosho County, and we don't know if they're going to pay for that road construction and fix it or not. In front of my house, they crowned the road, because that's to their benefit when they haul that heavy equipment in, and now water from those roads lacks this much and get into the ditch. So it runs down the road. And then it erodes down the road. What kind of person doesn't let the water get into the ditch? They don't care. They're not here for your benefit. They're here for their back pocket. They're here in Neosho County because we got the power lines to distribute this stuff that they get so they can get rid of it. They're too cheap to put in new lines out in western Kansas and ship it somewhere else. Of course, the government will probably pay for that too if they ask for it. But anyway, My wife's not here, I'm unsupervised. My hand talking, my voice raising, and it is a serious thing. Very serious thing. What worries me is there will become a time when somebody will have had it and your fire rates are gonna go up. All it's gonna take is 4 or 5 houses burning accidentally, so that they can recover what their insurance company, what their houses are insured for versus what they can sell it for. And then everybody's fire rates go up. And I hate to say that, Lord help me if my house burns tonight, but it's a real possibility. People need outs. And if they can't sell their property, some of them will find a way out. Praise God, and everybody here in this room, and everybody have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.